Beijing and Moscow have signed a deal for a new gas pipeline. It's going to run through Mongolia into China. Former Energy Secretary under Trump, Dan Brouillette, joins me now. Mr. Secretary, this seems like a very favorable development for China and for Russia, too.
It is, Stuart. Good morning. How are you?
Good.
It is. It is a very good development for China. They have long wanted access to Russian gas, and it appears now, if they develop this pipeline, that they will get it. And what that means, obviously, is a continued economic growth for China. But also, Stuart, we have to be a little concerned here in the U.S. because many of our LNG exporters here see China as a potential market for them. So piped gas is generally cheaper than LNG, depends on where you are in the world. But nonetheless, this is going to create a competitive edge for China and Russia in the gas markets.
It is possible, I guess, that nat gas could go down from China into other South Asian countries, again acting as competition for the liquefied natural gas that we want to export from Alaska.
Potentially it could. It would be quite expensive to do that, and the economics in China are just not the same as they are in places like Alaska. So, it is a threat. I think we have to keep an eye on it. But I tell you, this development is important for the Chinese economy going forward.
India has annoyed the president because they're buying Russian oil. That's going to affect these trade negotiations, isn't it?
Yes, it will, quite dramatically. And it already has, and we're starting to see that in the public announcements by both Prime Minister Modi as well as the President of the United States. The purchase of Russian oil is obviously quite complicated. India is a growing economy. They want access to cheap energy. But unfortunately, what it's doing is funding the war in Ukraine, and that's a problem not only for that part of the world, but for the rest of the world as well. We need things to settle out in these marketplaces.
President Trump canceled nearly $700 million worth of offshore wind projects. That includes one off the coast of Rhode Island, which was almost complete. Why cancel a wind project that's almost finished?
Yeah, Stuart, I disagree with this decision. I appreciate the concern around wind power here in the United States, and certainly the use of government funds to subsidize things like ports and items that are necessary for this industry. That money can perhaps better be spent on paying down the national debt, which is now approaching $40 trillion. But pulling a permit at this stage of the process sets an unfortunate precedent. It creates a whiplash effect that I think in the long term will freeze investments. Future administrations may use this very same tactic against our LNG exporters here in the United States or even other fossil energy producers. I think it's a very dangerous precedent and sets up some incredibly bad whiplash.
I don't understand why, because it seems like almost a deliberate policy. Kill the wind industry. Yeah. I don't know why you would do that.
Yeah, it appears that way. But if you're going to do that, and I don't disagree with the president's desire here, but if you're going to do that, look at future projects. Just freeze future projects. Don't go after a project that is nearly complete. That doesn't, in my mind, make good economic or policy sense.
Okay, following the Intel deal, there is a report that the administration could take a stake in various nuclear energy companies. Why would the government want to take a stake in a private nuclear company?
Yeah, again, another decision that I'm having trouble understanding. I appreciate the government's role in incentivizing or catalyzing certain types of technology. These are very, very highly technical fields, and sometimes the government has a proper role to play with R&D. But taking an investment in a company seems to me to be a bit too far. Again, going back to this whiplash concept. Once a government steps in and invests in a company, it tells the rest of that market, the competitors in that market, that no one should invest in them. They should invest in the one that the government has invested in. And America, Stuart, as you well know, is built on innovation. We are the most innovative country in the world. We are competitive by nature. And I think when the government steps in to do private investments like this one, it may have a cooling effect or a chilling effect on that innovation.
I wonder if the president will be interested in talking to you. After all, you were his energy secretary previously. We'll see. Dan Brouillette, thanks for joining us. See you again.
Good to see you, Stuart.
Yes, sir. There's